Yo, what's good, family? We have another not financial advice with your Uncle X. Today we're going to go over the METF coin. So this is on the Mad Meerkat ecosystem. I've posted about this coin maybe for the last couple of days. It's been doing really, really well. I got into this. I got made aware of this maybe a few weeks back. A couple of the homies from the men's circle, we're going back and forth as to the kind of project this is and really diving deep. And I thought it really had a lot of upside. I liked what I saw, so I got in on it. It's been doing really well, so I thought, I might as well kind of share it with the community and let's see if we could all kind of make money on this. All right, so. What is METF? METF is the first decentralized ETF protocol that runs on the METF token. The DTF term is thus coined by our team as a DEX traded fund, being the first of its kind. Each METF token is backed by a basket of assets. In the METF, assets under management, giving it intrinsic value that it cannot fall below. All of these assets come from the MMF DEX and hence are a part of the DEX traded fund. The DEX traded fund seeks to track high performing assets on the MMF Finance DEX with a strong value accrual strategy that will be outlined in the set documents. So, what is an ETF? An ETF, so kind of to break this down a little bit. So an ETF, think of an ETF as like a basket that represents several different assets, right? It could be stocks. A lot of this kind of comes from the stock world where you buy one ETF and, it has a little bit of Google in it. It has a little bit of Tesla in it. It has a little bit of Microsoft. It has a little bit of Disney, right? It represents several different companies and assets all in one, right? So the same thing is being done with this METF, where the ETF represents the assets that are on the Meerkat finance. So everything, maybe not everything on MMF, but a lot of the projects that they came out with are represented by this ETF. So that's kind of what an ETF is, if you kind of see this. So I would suggest everybody kind of take the time to go through these white papers, read up on the project, read up on the people who are behind the project, where its goals are, where they see themselves going, how they see themselves getting there, and do all your research. But three main ways to earn from METF protocol is bonding, which is kind of cool. We'll kind of go over that. Staking. Staking is essentially earning interest for leaving your assets on their platform. And then price appreciation, right? The price goes up, you make more money, right? So it's kind of easy to understand. And this is kind of what sold me right here, is this rising floor strategy. So there's a lot to read here, but I guess it's not a lot, but let me kind of break it down. So the rising floor strategy. So essentially, the assets that are under its management, right, would be utilized in the event that the price falls below a certain point. Those assets would be sold in order to pump the price of this METF back up. So if the price starts to dip, in order to mitigate that dip, they will sell some of their assets to push the price of the METF back up, creating a floor, right? And then as the ecosystem grows and the price of all of these assets grow, the price rises, the floor rises, right? So when I first got into ETF, I think the floor was at like $50 or something like that. And now if we look at the actual website, so we'll go into the website and right, so the price right now is 170. The market cap is 58 million. The total value locked on this site is 13 million. The APY that they're giving for staking on their site is 87,425%. Assets under management is worth 24 million. and then the floor backing per ETF, the floor essentially is $72. So as I was saying earlier, when I first got into it, the floor was $50. And then as the ecosystem has grown, right now the floor is $72. So if the price of this METF token falls below $72, some of these assets under management will be sold in order to push the price back up. So if we look at some of these assets, right, it's liquidity pools, right? You got the METF MMF, the Crow MMF, the SVN MMF, the MMF coin, MMO coin, and Wrapped Crow. So these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 assets come from the MMF ecosystem. These are the projects that were released by the MMF team, right? And then the only one that's really not native to the ecosystem is this Crow coin, right? So these are some of the assets. This is how much they have. I like the fact that they're really transparent with that. And then over here, so we have staking. Once again, this is earning interest for keeping your asset on their platform. They're giving 1.85 APR, which is a ridiculous rate. And then if we get into bonding, right? Bonding essentially is if you have some of these SVN, MMF, METF, MMF, or MMF coins, you can give them to the asset, you can bond them, which means essentially is you're giving them over to the METF so that they can have these assets under their management, and in exchange for them, they're giving you a percent off, 11%, 7% off on the price of the MMF token, right? So for giving up some of your liquidity pools or your tokens, they give you an 11% cut from the actual price of the asset, right? So you're getting it 11% cheaper, which is pretty cool. I think it's really, really, really dope. And as more and more people are bonding, it's giving more to the actual assets under management, which is allowing us to have a higher and higher floor, right? So it just kind of benefits the ecosystem as a whole. So yeah, this is the actual MMF site. This is what's going on it. I think this is really, really interesting. It's a little different from a lot of other projects and a lot of things that are going on in the crypto world. So this is definitely something I would, if you're interested in, take a look at. So now we're going to get into what's going on in price charting. This is my favorite. So as we could see here, let me zoom in a little bit. So today's candle is this big green one. So in one day it ran up about 80%, and then this candle right here, which is today and technically tomorrow's candle, ran up all the way to the 2. So for those that were following me online, you've seen in my stories where I was talking about the METF is on its way to the 2 fib at $296, and as you could see, it fucking hit it right on the dot, right? And that was, how much of a run was that? That was 136%. So essentially in one day, this token ran up 136%, which is absolutely amazing. So when I made that video, we were breaking the 1618 Fibonacci at 225, and that's what led me to believe that we were going to the 2 at 296, and yeah, we hit it right on the dot. So when you run up 130% in a single day, people are going to take profits, right? People are going to say, oh man, I got in on that when it was $50. Now it's almost 300. Let me take some of that off the table. And that's what we see with this red candle. It's kind of expected that you make gains like that, you're going to have some pullbacks, and that's healthy. That's what you want to see. So right now, we're kind of pulling back. I would imagine we're going to pull back down to the 1 at 145. Hopefully that allows this 20 EMA to start to move up. Maybe find support on that and then re-jump. As you could see, this RSI, as we have this pullback, it's resetting this RSI. The RSI is currently at like 66. It went up as high as like in the 80s, about 78. So at about the mid 80s to low 90s is where the RSI starts to get a little overbought, right? And starts to get a little cookie, and it's gonna have some pullbacks. So one thing that when we look at these kind of in the short term, we can get in on these projects and we can make some pretty good gains. But when we ask like, well, what's the highest potential for this project? Like, where is it actually going? When we look at these fibs, right, the 1618, the 2618, when we look at these Fibonacci levels, right, is it even possible to get to these higher levels of 2,113, the 4618 at 1,904? Is this even possible, right? That's kind of what we have to ask ourselves. Or where is the greatest possible potential for this project? So in order to kind of understand that, or to get a good sense of where you're going, you got to understand like market cap. And so we have a market cap calculator here. So just as a base to kind of understand this, something like a Shiba coin has a $15 billion market cap, right? Getting up into the 1 billion, 2 billion, it's not out of the question, especially with crypto. Like, there's a lot of projects that have a lot less going on for it than something like this that has already gotten way beyond the $1 billion mark. So just to kind of shoot lower than, and if it does better than that, even greater, even great. But something like this, I would say a $1 billion market cap is fair. It's easily attainable. So let's look at what that would take. So we take the circulating supply. Right now there's 342,814 coins, right? So we have that there. That's the circulating supply. And then if we look at where the top fibs, what did we say? 2,113. So if it got up to the 4 at 2,113, it would give us $724,365,982 market cap, which is under $1 billion. So let's try 3,000. Oh, there it is. So at $3,000 per coin, you're looking at a $1,028,442,000 market cap, which is super achievable. That's not out of the question to be able to get to a market cap like that. And so 3,000. So if we look here at where we're at, and we measure from here to 3,000, you're looking at a 1,555% gain from where we are currently. So if you were to just jump in right now and you wrote it up to 3,000 per coin, you're looking at a 1,555% gain, right? And I think this is very, very achievable. This is not out of the question at all. So I hope this was informative. I hope you guys learned something. I usually don't go this far with some of my analysis, but I hope this was informative. So if If you have any questions, hit me up. Peace.